Alright everyone, now it's time to talk about Reddit. They have apparently banned the term groomer, as usually applied. That's, luring kids in and shit like that. They've banned it on their website, I think site-wide, if I remember correctly. They're calling it a homophobic term. It's anti-LGBTQ. It's a transphobic term. And the Pink News here, with a hot take on it, and then saying, your move, Twitter. Yeah, Twitter is going to ban people for pointing out that people who interact inappropriately with kids, that there's a term for that. People will just use a different term. They'll make up a language creole, and 4chan's better at this. By the way, I notice all of the people hot under the collar about 4chan being a pit of evil and terrible things. What about Reddit, dude? Reddit is highly sanitized, extremely heavily censored, and run by commies. But then when it comes to something like this, they'll ban that. And I think I know why. Because there's a huge connection between leftoidism and being a fucking pervert. And that's really what this is about. That and the fact that they've got a huge community of people on there who are very, very confused and they want to defend their fifis. Can I please ask the people at Reddit one pertinent thing? If you're banning this term, are you not indicating in your explanation why the term's banned that it has something to do with being gay? Because that appears to be what you're indicating. This is an anti-gay. It's a slur against people who are gay or transgendered. Now, I point out also that a lot of drag queens, which is half of the usage of this term, these are adult straight males. These are not gay individuals. They happen to be doing effectively a misogynistic burlesque. It is basically adapted blackface. I've pointed this out before. It's even got a historical precedent. Even Wikipedia admits to this, and Wikipedia is about as far left as it gets these days. You don't need Rational Wiki anymore. All you have to do is expand Wikipedia. They're going to come to the same fucking conclusions. This is insane. Because think about what Reddit is fundamentally saying with its particular statements with regards to the use of the term groomer. The term, in a nutshell, does not have to do with anyone being gay or transgendered or even like in drag or something like that. Drag show, adults are going to see it, that's not grooming, nobody cares. It's understood to be an 18-plus sort of burlesque thing. It's a hyper-feminization in which men are effectively mocking femaleness. They're not going to be up there without the huge padded bra, the extreme lipstick and hair dids thing, and 6-inch nails and 12-inch pumps and stuff like that. It's effectively a mockery of what it means to be feminine, of feminine gender roles. It is modern-day blackface. It's not considered to be as offensive because leftoids like it. That's basically the long and short. The term, as being used especially in the context of educational material and interactions with kids, applies equally to straight or gay people. It does not matter which they are. Most of the materials that have been queried in schools by school boards, by parents at school board meetings, more often the latter, you'll notice, and by culture in general. When we look at the groomer literature that we're seeing peddled to elementary school kids, most of the content is straight. It's like that one really creepy one, which is marketed for kids that are as young as 4 or 5 years old. That's quite explicit. It's literally written on the fucking cover of the book. Can't remember the name of that specific one. One of the most famous images is of a girl and a boy fucking, and this girl is explaining to her little brother, who is of minor age, by the way, about how her vagina gets slippery and he puts it in and out, sprays semen inside of it, and crazy shit like this. This is relatively explicit. It's certainly far beyond the explicitness level that you need for elementary school kids, let alone at the young end of it. It's straight. There's no gay interaction in that particular section. It's interesting that supposedly groomer is a slur against LGBT whatever people, when one of the main examples, the one I've seen posted most often, of this material being inappropriate when should not be taught in a school curriculum. If kids want to read it at the local library, if their parents are okay with that, I find it weird, but they're not being compelled by the state to do it. If they're in a public school with mandatory attendance, for the most part, they are effectively being forced to read pornographic material, or at least quasi-pornographic. And if it were high schoolers, I would chuckle at the moralism of the far right, because high schoolers are going to chew this shit up and spit it out. They're going to be making jokes about slippery vagina all day, let's just face it. These are little kids. These are kids that are in some cases close to preschool age. Oh yeah, ages 4 to 8. Yes, yeah, that's exactly the kind of material that you want to show someone who's in 3rd grade. That makes a lot of sense. It is not material geared. The attack on the material is not geared towards LGBTQA plus IOU 123. It's straight material, but it's still groomer material. Why is Reddit therefore making the connection in their meager minds? And trust me, most Reddit mods are quite mediocre in the intellectual department. Why is it that you're making the connection between this kind of material and some sort of social movement for gay inclusion or trans equality? What the fuck are you even talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Many of those people, I get to talk to a lot of people as a content creator. I know numerous people who are gay, or in some cases asexual, they're pansexual. Bisexual has become a Byzantine term, it seems, among these people because it argues that there are only 2 genders, and so they've quietly retired it in favor of a million different Tumblr permutations. Reddit basically absorbed Tumblr. That might be part of the problem of why their site sucks even more now. Yeah, your karma system alone is retarded. Here's the problem. I talk to people who are, part of this gender spectrum and so forth. Non-binary, lesbians, and stuff. I talk to them all the time. I haven't met one of them that supports this literature being taught in schools, and I haven't met one of them that's not uncomfortable with the so-called movement of LGBTQ plus AIOU, etc., and says that it doesn't represent their wishes or their interests. Yes, believe it or not, it is possible for a person to be a homosexual and not make it a central core tenet of their identity and constantly dress in multicolored clothing to show off the fact that they happen to be gay. It is possible for a person to be a lesbian and not go out with "don't slut shame me" written on their boobs, stark naked running around doing primal scream therapy in front of a Catholic church. These are not part of that same core identity anyway. They are sub-movements, effectively, that have been taken over by a bunch of attention-seeking grifters and fame whores that make TikTok videos. That's basically the truth. I would wager that the majority of people that are like non-straight or non-binary and stuff like that, I would say that probably the majority of them are getting disgusted with you. It's interesting to see Reddit effectively claiming that the term groomer is a slur that is uniquely used for people that are non-straight. Again, it's interesting. I thought the term was used interchangeably for anyone who is engaged in inappropriate behavior with a minor. Well, yes, a grown-ass man in drag is fine for other adults to watch. Nobody cares. Nobody's offended by it. It happens all the time. Fucking Rudy Giuliani dressed up as a woman for a clip that he did with Donald Trump for a Republican fundraiser once. And it was quite funny, actually, at the time. No kids were involved with the production of this. If kids had been involved with the production of Donald Trump trying to feel up Rudy Giuliani's fake tits, it would be a little bit weird. In fact, it would be a Reddit-based leftoid meme. But no kids were involved. Nobody cares. Likewise, many of those individuals engaging in this inappropriate behavior are straight males. And in some cases, straight females, of course. We've seen numerous stories that go well beyond Florida Man with regards to teachers acting inappropriately with their students. They don't get nearly as much news coverage, I will note. But it's insane to claim groomer as a homophobic or problematic term. And to ban it off of your site is quite telling. Are you trying to defend a large proportion of your user base? Their fifis got hurt? I wonder why their fifis got hurt. Could it be they're having a little bit of guilt about their own personal behaviors? Wouldn't put it past the Reddit crowd. That's about all. Peace out.